From Quantic Dreams, the creators of Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, comes their new adventure game, Detroit Become Human. With their unique way of storytelling once again taking charge, how well does it stand up against other games of its genre?
Which settings were detected on your console? Are they correct?
The game is set in Detroit during the year 2038, where leaps in technology has created lifelike androids that do their human master's bidding. You play three characters during the game: Connor, the android detective hunting down deviant androids; Marcus, the deviant android leading a revolution for rights for androids; and Kara, another deviant android who saves and takes care of a young girl. Despite not being wholly original, a lot of themes and moments are taken from stories like Blade Runner and Westworld. Detroit managed to still be interesting and engaging. All three storylines were pretty great, with Connor's storyline outright being the most fun and interesting. The way you investigate crime scenes or interrogate deviants as Connor is something that feels unique, and the way you see him evolve and struggle throughout the game is something done so quietly and well done. Marcus's story, while being the emotional core of the game, kind of bugged me from the beginning of the game, since his motivations for his revolution were kind of random and not at all built up in the quick span he changes. Kara's storyline, while a kind and sweet story, felt a bit out of place. Her decisions and story don't quite impact the whole story like Connor or Marcus's choices. The biggest thing about this game, however, is the choices you make. Every action you make affects the story in some way, and the choices you make in each chapter are shown to you with a flowchart upon chapter completion. I welcomed this as I was able to see the full scope and how important your choices truly were, and it showed a lot of replayability for the game in total. From changing the public's opinion, which made Detroit kind of feel more alive, to being pals with Connor's human partner Hank, it's hard not to be impressed with the way this game handles choice, despite some flaws with parts of its story. Now, with this being a more cinematic game, it's a bit hard to judge Detroit based on its gameplay. Like most games of its genre, Detroit's main gameplay involves walking around and investigating the environment. It's never really exciting, and the controls can get very agitating when moving around, especially when you change camera angles. During big action moments, the game resorts to using QuickTime events, and while I don't think QTEs should be the main action controls in video games, Detroit handles these moments very well and is probably the best use of QTEs in a video game. However, it's far from gameplay that can really capture the player's attention.
Yet. We'll see about that later.
Okay.
What else?
Just your usual fan mail. I've already answered.
Detroit actually surprised me in so many ways here. The graphics and lighting are top notch, actually among the best I've played this year. The game also has some of the best facial animations in a video game. Everything that makes the game look so good is on display most of the time, but is very noticeable during captures where it's raining, where it looks absolutely spectacular. The game is also accompanied by a decent soundtrack that fits a futuristic setting very well. While the sound design doesn't really have much to do here, there are moments where it stands out. The voice work here is actually fantastic. All the major characters are performed very well, especially those who play Connor and Hank. The very impressive part of the voice work is the amount of voice work for the people in the environment, who make the world feel like it's alive and there are other characters in this world dealing with their own issues. All this helps to immerse you into the world that Quantic Dream is trying to show you. While Detroit is nowhere near flawless, it has enough for me to consider a great game as well as Quantic Dream's best. With a good story, characters, and amazing visuals, Detroit Become Human stays interesting and engaging the whole time.
Now concentrate on how it makes you feel and let your hand drift across the canvas.